This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is our first look at the LG G4. We're going to look at the T-Mobile version. We'll be looking at the international version as well in our full review. So yes, there'll be an even longer video of the new G4, but we like what we see so far, including the new leather back here. Still the same 5.5-inch IPS display in a slim package, but this time, well, we've got new quantum display, QHD resolution, true colors. We're going to look at it now. So here it is, the LG G4, much anticipated because the LG G3 was a phone that, as you know, we liked a lot last year. Really, LG stepped up their game, and they went from flirting with irrelevance to suddenly selling a good number of devices, and they're hoping, of course, this year that they're going to sell even more. Of course, the competition is strong, especially with the Samsung Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge looking so good this year and having great features, but LG's not slouching here. First, 5.5-inch quantum QHD display. This is an IPS display that has very high color accuracy. It's so accurate that it's a lot like what we see with equipment that's used to make feature films, to view it, edit it, that sort of thing. Does that matter to you? Supreme color accuracy? No, but does it make for a nice display with better viewing angles? Sure it does. Off-angle viewing is improved compared to previous LG models. And brightness has improved as well. And let's crank it all the way up to max brightness here so you can see, and take it off of auto brightness. Pretty bright there. And the off angle, yeah, it's looking good on that. But the real exciting thing here, well, I don't know if it's the curve to you guys, but LG G Flex and G Flex 2, of course, had the curve going, well, this way. This is a very subtle curve. It looks nice, it feels nice in the hand, and the idea is that it greatly reduces the chances of the front Gorilla Glass cracking. Supposedly. And really the most interesting thing, look at the back. It is leather clad. Now, Motorola's done that with the Moto X. It's not the first time we've seen it, but I have to say LG did a very good job. Supposedly it's high-class leather. It takes them months to make one of these into a phone back. Available in 4 different colors. Very nice, no creaking. So far, no scratching. It is leather. You know, eventually, of course, it's going to scuff and scratch. Look at that distressed look. But they did a nice job with it. And underneath, well, there's going to be plastic, polycarbonate, the usual things that phones are made of. I don't think most people mind that. What they care about is how the phone looks, right? Does it look pretty? Is it premium materials that you see? Plastic, polycarbonates are very strong. As an understructure for the phone, I have no complaints. LG still goes with the back buttons here. The idea with one-handed use, you can do that and feel it in a tactile way. You get used to it. I don't know. Power button in the middle, volume up and down over here, and there's a stippled metal surface here so you feel it, or a faux metal surface, so you can pretty much tell when you're in the right place. 16 megapixel camera here with a lot of good features. f1.8 lens, for example, one of the fastest camera lenses you're going to find on a camera phone. Pretty good sensor size. We'll talk about that a little more. We have our laser autofocus. It's back again. I don't think anybody ever minded it. It really does make for quick focusing times, and a single color LED flash. Now, it's not too heavy, which is nice given the size of the phone. And as always, LG impressed us. One of the things we liked about the G3 was how small the phone was for something with a 5.5-inch display. That's verging on the size of the Samsung Galaxy Note phone series, but yet the footprint is a lot smaller. Now, other companies are fighting back, including, we just reviewed the Alcatel One Touch Idol 3 recently, which we have here, also a 5.5-inch display, and it's pretty similar in size. And the Idol is a little thinner. Of course, the Idol is a bit more of a budget phone, so it doesn't have as much need for space inside, heat dissipation for a CPU, the higher resolution camera, all that sort of thing going on. So we're pretty cool with the LG size. LG also sticks with the IR Blaster AV remote control that we've seen in previous phones, and has become a staple of a lot of higher-end Android phones. One of the selling points, of course, is going to be the screen size. For those of you who like something that verges towards the phablet, you've got a 5.5-inch display versus the 5.1-inch display on the Samsung Galaxy S6 series. Otherwise, you know, the Galaxy's putting up a pretty good fight against the LG, but that's the subject of another review. But you can see the size difference there. Not too huge, actually, the LG compared to the Samsung, for those of you who do want the bigger, live-in large kind of display. So what's inside? It's a 1.8 gigahertz Snapdragon 808 CPU, not the 810 that's used in the LG G Flex 2 or in the HTC One M9. So slightly lower number, slightly lower number of cores, 6 cores, or hexacore as it's called. Still a bit faster than the Snapdragon 805 that it replaces, fast enough, honest to goodness, this need for speed that we have with CPU development, it's, you know, it's getting a little crazy, isn't it? Obviously, we have the T-Mobile version here. You can see T-Mobile TV. So this is a pre-release, call it, version of what you'll be seeing in June 2015, available on U.S. carriers. We're also getting the international model in-house. And that's important because T-Mobile has actually blocked many benchmarking apps from running on this. In our full review, video review that is, and of course our written review, we'll give you all the benchmark numbers. But for the few that we've run so far, even on the T-Mobile version, I can say the numbers are respectable. Phone has 3 gigs of RAM inside, and it has 32 gigs of storage. If that's not enough for you, LG fights back with removable storage. You have an SD card slot compatible with cards up to 2 terabytes, as if most of us have a 2 terabyte card in house. One other neat thing is, you know, it looks like a unibody phone, doesn't it? Guess what? This back peels off. Still, we have a removable battery, something that even Samsung has given up on lately. There's our 3,000 milliamp battery right there. There's the nano SIM card slot stacked on top of that would be the micro SD card if you want to put one in. And here's our, yeah, it's a rear firing speaker. We would still love to see LG start putting front firing speakers on this, but can't have everything, I guess. By the way, since the back obviously snaps on and off, it'll be interesting to see if you can mix and match back covers. Say you get the faux metal plastic one, you want to go to leather, or you want to change the leather colors afterwards. If these are sold aftermarket, I think in theory it should be possible. I see no reason why not. Inside we have Android 5.1 Lollipop and LG UI on top of it. Still not our favorite UI. LG has tried to lighten things up just as Samsung did, but I think they could get even a little lighter. Still not a fan of their square icons. Oh well. You still get things like LG Health on here, their multi-window multitasking, and a lot of stuff that we will cover in our detailed review. It's not an offensive thing, and you know, the settings app, for example, you can set it to scroll as a single line, which is something that we're more used to now in modern Android land. But the default is tabbed view, like so. And really, I think we've had enough of tabbed view. I think I'll go back to list view. Thank you very much. Other cool features include, of course, LTE 4G, but we've got X10 LTE. That's Cat9, 450 megabit per second LTE. Depends on whether your carrier network support that or not, but nobody's going to mind actually having the upper compatibility with faster LTE. It has a slim port. That's the micro USB port here that can do MHL out, basically HDMI out, and it can stream up to 4K. Pretty nice that. The camera on the back, LG's made a very big deal of it, so of course we're going to spend a lot of time looking at it in detail. New 16 megapixel sensor. It is a pretty large sensor, f1.8 lens. That's a very fast lens. Also has a color spectrum sensor. It's going to try to get the most accurate colors possible. Full manual modes available on it, laser autofocus, and the front camera, 8 megapixels, so you're going to really be looking good on those selfies. Now, to give you an idea how the camera did, and again, we'll go into this in more detail and compare it particularly with the Galaxy S6 because it has a stunning camera. That's a really lovely, pretty shot with some very balanced exposure and a lot of detail there. You got a little bit of white out there, but that's a very high contrast scene, pretty good. Now that's a very nice macro shot. We actually see a little bokeh, or background blur, that was captured with the camera. That's not a software effect that was added afterwards. And reds, which tend to bloom on cameras, look really good there. So I'm pretty excited by the camera here. And well, it's supposed to be one of the strong selling points. And it is. LG says the price point should be pretty similar to the LG G3, which would mean $199 with a 2-year contract, around $600 or $650 off contract. Not bad. Who knows? Carriers are all varying their full retail prices these days. AT&T tends to charge more. Anyway, it's going to be priced similar to the competition, maybe even a little bit less. Not bad with 32 gigs of storage and expandable storage inside, and that removable battery as well. So that's our LG G4 first look. And like I said, we're going to have an even more detailed full review on this, video review, as well as a written review. But first look, very promising. Again, it's going to be available in June in the United States. It's already available in Korea now. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.